All right. Thank you all for being here again. And for the people who are going to listen to this later, we just did a small check-in. And now we're going to do a recap. And we might also, like do some deep dives with anybody on the call if we want to share. So I want to start by saying thank you. It was a very nice session. I enjoyed myself a lot. And I saw that most of you really were very open. You shared your ideas, and it was also very nice because you were open enough and you felt safe enough to disagree to some of the things I was sharing. I got some feedback from some of you about the session, what you found useful, what could have been a little longer, more detailed, what could have been a bit shorter. So I will keep that in account. Uh, but I want to do a very quick recap of our journey because it was a long journey. We took breaks, right? So, how did everything come together? So, I just want to do a recap before I go into maybe some specific questions, or we can also do a one-on-one small coaching. Just if anybody feels like that, and then I'll just share what I've thought about the future plans after that. So that's the agenda. So recap, maybe some one-on-one interventions, coaching, and then I'll just share the future plans. So first of all, the session I had planned it in three phases. As you remember, there was the past, there was the present, and then there was the future. For the past, we looked at the conditionings that we have, and we looked at what brought about those conditionings. So there are thoughts, and there are certain patterns that we all repeat. There are certain loops that go on in our head, and there are certain prejudices we have. There are some judgments we have. The question here is, whose judgments and whose thoughts are those? Are they even your thoughts, or it's just because you have been in certain environments, certain cultures, uh, uh, where like certain things have been repeated so many times that now that has become your story? So I just wanted to bring your attention to the fact that, is the story in your head even your story, right? Or is it something that's really been passed on? If it is not your story, then maybe it's time to let go of that story and choose for yourself what is the reality. So that's what I wanted to really bring out from the past. The other thing is, we spoke about limiting beliefs. So there are certain limiting beliefs, and the same thing applies there. So you believe that you can do some things, and you believe that there are some things that you cannot do. Now, these limiting beliefs, again, are they really true? So if you spend 2 3 minutes or 5 minutes, I'm sure you would be able to come up with some limiting beliefs. And I think you did that during the session. The question is, do you really have enough proof that those limiting beliefs are not true? I'm sure if I give you time to, like just think about logical things that have happened in your life where certain limiting beliefs have stopped you, and other situations where there was no traces of those limiting beliefs, you could totally ace the situation. You're going to think of a lot of situations where those limiting beliefs are not true. However, those limiting beliefs are not true, but still they get you most of the time. If you relate, give me a hand, that that this limiting belief is not true, this is not who I am, right? But you still fall for it, because at that moment when it is happening, it's too late. It's already happened. It's already sabotaged the situation. So our challenge, and this is what we'll try keep doing in the future, is really destroying those limiting beliefs so that there is no inch of those limiting beliefs anymore. And it's very easy to do it, because if we analytically look down upon our life, you will see there's so many situations where you have crushed those limiting beliefs. So there's absolutely no reason to believe to have those limiting beliefs. So that's number one. Number two is, we looked about our drivers. We looked about certain six things that usually drive us. So the six things were, anyone remembers what those six things were?
Yeah, it was certainty, uncertainty, love, and there was giving, and what was the other one? Growth, and there was one more.
Significance.
Yeah, significance. Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, well done, Vera, and well done, Sohail. Yeah. So these are the six, right? So the first four are more human drivers, which is certainty. We all need some certainty, some guarantee in our lives. Otherwise, we are very stressed. Now, there's certainty. There's too much of certainty causes boredom. So we need some uncertainty, some excitement in life, something that's novel. There's significance where we want ourselves to be appreciated, where we want to feel special, where we want to feel important, popular, all these things. A good example, again, is social media and when somebody praises you, how do you feel, right? So that's significance. The fourth thing is love. And that's something, again, I didn't explain it during the session. I won't do it now. You know what love is. Uh, so that's very important. The other two are the spiritual or the higher needs, which is growth and giving. And all of them are good, right? In certain balances, that's really applicable for you. So if you're driven by significance, where all you care about is again Instagram likes or popularity or number of followers, then there's a big question mark. Is that really who you are? Does that give you fulfillment in the long term? And why this becomes very important in the bigger scheme of things is, so these needs create patterns. So if your need is certainty, let's say you have a very exciting opportunity with a little amount of risk, which is totally doable, you're still going to fall for certainty and let go of that situation, because certainty is your main driver, and your pattern is that whenever you have choices, you go for the choice that has certainty, even if it's a real bad choice and you know it. So why I wanted you to be conscious about what patterns and what drivers you have is so that you are careful about it in the present and in the future. So we spoke about the drivers, and you kind of came up with the drivers that have been driving your life so far, and we spoke about patterns. And then there was this section which was a difficult section where I started talking about the ego, and I said that the that the only source of information for the ego is the past. So survival instinct, right? So if our survival is on the line, we are going to take extremely desperate measures. So for the ego to survive, these memories and these experiences and these limiting beliefs or these ideas are the fuel. So it cannot survive without those. So then it is going to play all kinds of tricks with you. And ego can come from your possession, from what you have achieved, what you have not been able to achieve. So the ego is going to play all these tricks on you to survive, because it's desperate to survive. So it's not so easy to get rid of the ego. Now, we spoke about all these things about the past, and then we slowly came to the present. So the present is pretty much the only thing we have. I mean, you can debate that the past is true. Of course, the past is true, but when the past was happening, there were moments that where everything happened, and those were the present moments. So the present is where the past and the future gets integrated. And the biggest thing, and probably the only thing that you can lose, is the present. So if the moment at this second, right, or if my presence is compromised because I'm too much in the past thinking about what I did, what I did not do, what I should have done, what I could have done, right? So I'm totally off from the present, and then this moment is gone. Similarly, waiting for a brighter future, thinking that this will happen in the future and then I will be happy, is the next mistake that we can commit. Because again, things are in the present. This doesn't mean you don't plan your future. This doesn't mean you do not take action. If there is something in the past that you have integrated and you have learned and you want to use it to not make or repeat the same mistake, you're still in the present. You're using your past lessons in the present to do the right thing. Similarly, if you want to plan your future, it's totally fine, right? You decide that this is my present moment where I'm going to start planning a future, and you enjoy that moment and you plan. That's also fine. The only thing is having the thought that, yeah, things are going to happen in the future and I will be happy if I have that thing and if I achieve that thing, or I'm not whole at the moment, I still need to work on this. Till I achieve that, I will not become something else. And you see all the vague words that I use, right? Where I say I will become that, this. So it's very vague. The future is vague. So it's all you have got is the present. I very strongly recommend the book, The Power of Now. I've been reading it. I treat it like a Bible, a dictionary. I go to it every 2, 3 weeks, read it, listen to it for maybe 10, 15 minutes. That really resets me. Sometimes I cannot stop at 10, 15 minutes, which is happening now. So I'm reading the whole book again or listening to the whole book again. It's so beautiful. So Eckhart Tolle's work on this is really nice. And where this concept comes from is like from thousands of years back. So this was already part of the Vedas in the Hindu texts and stuff. But I think he has summarized it really well. So I very strongly recommend you to read the book. It's just going to reset your thought process about the present. Okay, so we spoke about the present and then we went towards the future. And that's where we did the Wheel of Life exercise. Now, there's something very important I forgot to tell you when I was doing the Wheel of Life exercise, which I want to mention at the moment. Uh, one of the vital utilities of the Wheel of Life exercise is this. So we plotted out our life areas. We rated ourselves we gave ourselves current ratings in those areas. Where are we now in those areas? Now, here is the question. Let's say you know that these areas of your life are good, these areas of your life are not good, right? Now, imagine you get some boost in the sense that you suddenly have you come up with some money, or you come up with some fresh energy, some friends or some family comes in and starts supporting you. So you have more space, more energy, more resources to improve. Now, the question is, would you devote those resources to the areas that you're already good at, or will you devote it to the areas that you are not good at? I would like to hear your answers.
Yeah, of course, you would devote that extra help for the things where you're not good at.
Yeah.
Of course.
Is that what you would do, or is that what you should do?
Would do and should do both.
Okay. Okay. Others?
Interesting question.
Yeah.
I just looked at my Wheel of Life again, and it was directly clear to me if I'd have extra resources, feel completely safe, I would directly invest it into the areas where I'm strong. So yeah, that's probably not bad in itself. I should probably find a balance to both support that what I'm strong at.
Yeah.
That also helps me grow in the other areas. But then I should also consciously allocate some resources to the areas where I need improvement, particularly when I have extra resources.
Yeah. And why I remembered the fact that I had missed saying this is after our session on Saturday, people were hanging out and I was talking to somebody. And funnily, she said that, yeah, I did my Wheel of Life, this, and yeah, but I mean, I'm really good at this area, but I think I'm still going to work on this area. And immediately it clicked that I'd missed saying this. So a wheel which is not balanced, where something is really good and something is really bad, looks like this. So that wheel cannot roll. So you have to decide what your right balance is. And this is a real big anti-pattern I forgot to call out. So one of the so you decided your area of growth. So maybe you have a thought that this is that actually the area you want to improve, or do you want to make your wheel more consistent? So just wanted to throw that out. Thank you for sharing, Yannick and Soel. So so we spoke about the Wheel of Life, and then we were looking at some habits or certain quick wins that we can exhibit that can really keep us on course and take us where we want. To do that, first we needed to find out what our outcomes are. So you can be a manager of your life. A manager means something is going to happen. initiated by different sources, not you, right? So your family can initiate something, your country can initiate something, your company where you work can initiate something, your manager can initiate something. So these people are going to initiate something, and then you're going to react, right? Somehow. So you will do something to make sure you're afloat or you're still surviving, or those people are happy. So that is management. The other half is creation, where creation means you decide that this is what my future is going to look like. This is what will give me satisfaction. This is what will give me fulfillment. This is what will enable me to help other people's grow. This is where my vision lies. So you design your future. So they're two very different things. So whether you will be a manager or whether you will be a creator is your choice. So people think that it's conditions that shape their future, but it's actually end of the day a decision. And it's very easy to make a decision. It doesn't take much time to decide that this is what I'm going to do. So that's where we were leading with the outcome, right? So what outcome do you want? And I asked you to coin that outcome without worrying about how to get to the outcome, because the how part is the easier part. And then when we were coining the outcome, I wanted you to be specific. I wanted you to be realistic. That is something that I can really do. So realistic, specific. So by specificity, I meant you commit to a certain time and a very specific goal that I want to achieve this in this time. For example, Michael was sharing there, said that I want to reach this or win this competition in 6 months from now. So very clear goals. So the outcome needs to be clear. And then the most important part of that is why. Because success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, where you succeed. So you have spent 6 months, 1 year, 5 years of your life, and you suddenly find yourself that you finally succeed. How long do you remain happy after success? Is it 5 years? And every day of those 5 years, when you wake up, you're like, oh, I wanted this and I've achieved this. Is it 5 months that you're happy? Is it 5 weeks that you're happy? Or is it 5 hours that you're happy before you move on to what you want next? Right? So for most people, it lies between 5 hours and maybe 1 week. For many people, 5 minutes. They reach something, they are done. They're thinking about the next thing, right? So outcome is very important. However, here is a small, here's a golden insight. What makes us happy is progress. It's not the final achievement. So progress equals happiness. So let's say I have a big goal and then I make a small step, I succeed, I'm happy. I take the next small step, I'm happy. I want to learn Dutch, right? So one day I'm able to hold a conversation with somebody in the elevator. I've made some progress, makes me immensely happy, right? Next, I pass an exam, makes me really happy. So progress equals happiness. So we came up with the outcome. We came up with the why, again, because we want to be fulfilled when we succeed, right? So it's really something that we desire. And that's where the designing part comes, right? So because we have designed our life, we know that this outcome is very valuable for us, for maybe future steps or for inspiring others or for what really our calling is. So we coined our outcome, we coined our why. And during the why, we put in as much emotional bondings, emotional seeds as possible, because emotions is what makes you either go certain way or not go certain way. We are humans. We are driven by emotions. We can say that we are this, that, but at the end of the day, if I am offered a cookie in the office, if my reason is strong enough not to say no to the cookie, I'm going to say yes to the cookie. How many of you relate to this? I have to have a real strong, clear, emotional constraint to say no to something, and also similarly to say yes to certain things. If my outcome is not very clear and it's raining, I might feel, and now it's going to 0 degrees also soon, I'm not going to go to the gym. I do not have enough emotional balance, enough emotional trigger to pull me out of my bed, wear my shoes, and go to the gym. So emotion is very important. So we spoke about the outcome, we spoke about the why, and then we came to the map, which was a massive action plan. So we wanted to write down exact steps that we will take, who will support us in our journey, right? What will we do if we are not on our path? What will we do to bring ourselves back to our path? What will inspire us? What environment is needed? And the biggest thing, the easiest thing to do was to change your identity, or is to change your identity if you want to succeed. So, humans, one of our biggest efforts is to stay consistent to our identity, not stay consistent to expectations or inspirations. They work, but only to a very small level. But if your identity is something, you're going to stick to your identity. If somebody offers you a cigarette, some people can answer, well, I do not want to smoke right now. Or, yeah, I will not have a cigarette. And someone will answer, I am not a smoker. It's a very big difference between the two. If somebody is saying, I'm not a smoker, his identity is, I'm not a smoker. So there's a very high chance he's going to stick to what he means and what he says, rather than somebody who says that, oh, I quit smoking. So I quit smoking means, okay, I quit smoking, but you can hear it in the voice that there is still this chance, lingering chance. And that's sometimes all it takes when you're in a vulnerable situation to fall back. So we wanted to create clear identities, and then we came up with some identities. One thing I forgot to say during when I was talking about the map or massive action plan is these actions do not need to be perfect. They can be imperfect action, but taking imperfect action is way more important than procrastinating, and not taking action. Right? How many times does that get us where we feel that, yeah, we're going to do this, but I can do it now, but it would not be too good. And then we never do it. So imperfect action is very important. And finally, to get the momentum rolling, we wanted to take one small step. So I really pushed you to take one small step or write down one small step. And then contracts are amazing things that keep us on track. So I asked you or requested you to write one thing that you will do and sign it and show it to somebody else. So just that writing and signing makes yourself way more accountable. So that was kind of the session, right? I'll stop here. I hope it was a very quick recap. So recapping 4 hours in 10-15 minutes is not really possible. But I hope I gave you a bit of a of a summary of what happened in that timeline. Any questions? I'll give you a minute still. Just think about it. If anything comes up, please ask.
Well, it's very clear what you mapped for us. I was just wondering, you mentioned the book. Can you repeat?
Sure. I'll send it in the group also. Okay. It's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Anything from the session also that you didn't understand, you didn't like? You have questions from Saturday?
No, I actually have a question. It might be quite logical. But like if you're gonna, because that's what I understand, right? If you're gonna work in the triads on the goal that you set for yourself regarding the wheel of life, would you always going for the goal that's in your weakest area in the wheel of life, or is it also possible to do it in like a good area?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's your choice, right? It's just for me, it's very important to make you conscious that this is our tendency. This is where we generally lean, because again, it's a bit of momentum, right? So if you're doing something really well, you have that momentum. It's so much easier to do something where you have momentum that you're good at, rather than doing something that you're not good at, which is actually the reason why you're not good at the other thing, right? So you love ignoring that area. for different reasons. Maybe it's too difficult, maybe it triggers you, maybe it's boring. And this is very important. The word boring is very important because studies show, or one of the biggest differences between somebody who is a master or outstanding as opposed to somebody who is talented and is bright but is not a master is people who have mastered things can do boring things over and over again. And there's a study, it's usually suggested for, I mean, not suggested, but the sample data is for men. So men, if they are doing something which they are successful in, it's rewarding, they're getting money, they're getting enough value out of it, they're growing. However, it's a flat line. Flat line in the sense there's nothing new that is happening. They're consistently earning more, let's say, they're consistently getting appreciation, but there's nothing new. And contrastingly, there's another situation where a man is unsuccessful. So he's trying and he's unsuccessful. Interestingly, the amount of stress both have is the same. Although one is successful, one is not successful. The only same criteria is that it's a flat curve where they're getting bored. So, I mean, these things we don't think of, right? Because boredom, how can it be a big factor? Anybody relates? Show me your hand that you can't. So if something is boring, even though you're, like receiving value, you would do something else. Yeah. So it's your wheel, it's your decision, what you want to feel, what you want to do. I've heard people who are like marathon runners. During marathons, they're doing really well, and there's nothing for them to achieve more to achieve for them in that area. But then they get some more resources, they'll again spend it on that, where maybe their intimate relationship, it's such an important part for them. It's a bit of, like it's also easy to ignore, right? It just helps you to ignore that area.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult working in that area, which is something that you have conditioned yourself with. It might be super easy. And sometimes the difference between a breakthrough, being outstanding, and being very good is 2 millimeters. So you're trying, and then you're this close. How many of you relate to this, right? You were this close to victory, but then you gave up because you felt, the night is the darkest before dawn, right? So that 2 millimeter push in the gym, if you're doing a set of 10 repetitions, which repetition gives you the maximum growth? Question.
The painful one, I guess.
Which is which rep?
The last one.
So the 10th one. Yeah, the answer is the 12th one.
I see.
I mean, a gym trainer has two roles. One is to show you how to do the movement correctly. The second thing is to scream at you. You're going to say, oh, I can't do it. Oh, it's impossible. And he's going to say, no, go. And then you do it, and then everything is fine. You just managed to do it. But you were telling yourself you can't. Yes, Yannick.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I see my personal history in a way that I've been very achieving in the past. But then I got some health issues.
Yeah.
And now hearing about these repetitions, I can see now that subconsciously there's some, I mean, I keep identifying this, that there's some anxiety for me to go for 12 repetitions because I've hurt myself before. And so I'd rather go for, I don't know, 8 something, or sometimes I wouldn't even go for the workout because of this history.
Right. No, thanks for mentioning this. And this is where, where the mind is usually a bit helpful because it warns you, right? But the things that confine you or protect you also restrict you. The question is, we are at different chapters in our lives. And this is a very good question. We are in different chapters in our lives, right? So let's say I can lift 10 kilos for my chest press, right? So I need to get used to that 10 kilos, do 10, 12 reps before I go to 12 and 14, right? So I cannot be wishful and see somebody else doing 14 and do 14. And your instructor is not going to ask you to do that, right? So you push. So you have to know which chapter you are on. I'm going to relate this to another thing, right? So one of the things that really keeps us agitated, stressed is comparison. So we compare ourselves with other people, totally disregarding what chapters they are in. Maybe I'm just starting my role as maybe I'm just starting to play tennis, right? So I'm in chapter 1. Now somebody in my club has been playing for 4 years. And then I'm stressing that, oh, I've been now practicing for 3 months. I have a coach, but yeah, I can't do this. I can't do that. So people, do not compare yourself with people who are in different chapters. And the other thing is, many of us think the present and the future is a result of our past. So the example is when you drive a car, imagine you're driving a car and you're driving by looking at the rear view mirror. You're going to crash in seconds. Also, imagine you're driving a car looking at people on the other sides, right? The other drivers. Again, you're going to crash. So you have to keep your focus. But the other part of it is to answer your specific question about the gym, right? So wisdom, and note it down now or later, it's a very interesting theory. So wisdom comes from experience, right? Experience is a result of good decisions. I mean, experience comes from making decisions. And sometimes the decisions are good and sometimes those decisions are bad, right? So wisdom is a result of judgment. Sorry, I'll add one more step. Wisdom is a result of good judgment. So good decisions. Good decisions are a result of experience. Experience is a result of bad decisions. So it's a loop. So you have to take some bad decisions. You cannot be not hurt and succeed.
Yeah.
Right? So
makes sense.
Because now you have the clarity of when you will do 12 repetitions, when you will not do 12 repetitions, because you've learned the hard way. But sometimes in life, that's life. We learn the hard way. In some areas, you have been excused this painful learning. In some areas you have.
Yeah. So what I get from what you just said is that for me, maybe the most important is to enhance my presence, my awareness, to be able to actually access the wisdom I have gathered throughout this lifetime and make
Absolutely.
the right judgment, take the right decision, to know in the moment, am I right now at 10 or at 12 repetitions, and what weight should I actually carry in this current version of myself?
Absolutely. And the more you're exactly as you said, right, in your present, and the more you're not letting your ego decide. Your ego will say that, oh, you are weak. Your ego will say, oh, you're amazing. Your ego will say, oh, that guy is doing that. Why can't we do that? So you have to be very playful and very real. What is the reality? And you know the reality, right? Nobody else can say. At the end of the day, you're responsible for your experience. And it's I mean, I'm saying this, but it's a very fine thing. Like sometimes I would go for a massage, right? And I use this example because it's a very fine balance. And how much pressure do you want, right? So sometimes I'm enjoying the massage, and sometimes maybe the pressure is too much. I'm not enjoying the massage. Now I have every right and every opportunity to say that hey, this is too much, right? But again, I know a bit of a painful massage is useful. So every situation in life is very fine. So am I not being able to correct my masseuse because of a conditioning where I'm not able to say no, or where I'm not able to say, like change this? Or is it because I really believe that, okay, a bit of pain is fine, I'm enjoying this? You realize this is so true for relationships and communication at every place. And that is where being in the presence of how I operate is I don't give myself time. If I feel something, I have enough confidence that in most areas I'm going to make the right decision. I'm not going to say something to offend you. So I'm not going to give myself time. If I feel that this is right, I'm going to execute immediately. But that's my strategy. So you need to find a strategy that works for you. But all situations of life is very fine, Yannick. You know it, right?
Yeah. Thanks.
Sure. Any final questions, comments? And the other thing that I also spoke about in the session that's so important is reality versus theory. So Sohail spoke about relationships, right? And then you spoke about weed, and Farah was speaking about something else, moving and these big decisions. So what is the reality? You really have to see what reality is, and that comes from accepting the past, totally accepting who you are, being in the present, and seeing what really is your design, what you really feel is true. What does your intuition tell you? So there are 3 levels. Okay, last concept before we go into the future plans. It's an advanced concept, but I think you'll understand, so I'll throw it out, right? So there are 3 layers. The first layer is instinct, and instinct is related to the body. So there are certain actions that happens because of instinct. The body performs all these things automatically. And there are thousands of actions that the body is doing at this moment that I'm not aware of. I do not have to intellectually intervene. It happens instinctively. Now, instinct is very powerful. So if I try to go against instinct, let's say I'm fasting or I'm doing something and my instinct is off, it is going to have a very big bearing. So it will not let me focus or be at a stable state if I fight instinct. So you have to see how you balance your instinct. The next level is the mind, which is the intellect. Now, the work of the mind is to keep you safe. So it is always going to come up with irrational situations where, like you can get hurt and try to keep you safe. And it will try to keep your ego safe because the ego survives with these thoughts and with these memories. Intellectually, of course, it's useful for a few things, but mostly, depending on who you are, what is happening, it might not be serving you too much. You just need to figure it out where you are. The third layer is intuition. When instinct is balanced, when intellect is balanced, then intuition arises. And at the level of intuition, you know things, you can operate at a different level. I'm sure you feel it. I mean, you have done certain things in your lives where, like you were brilliant, you've shown through everything, and you have no idea how. You have no idea how you came to know about that. You don't know why you took that action, but you took that action. You were able to predict something, maybe. You were able to choose something, maybe out of intuition. It's happened to all of us. Now, it can only happen when the other layers are balanced, when you're not overthinking, when you're totally in sync with the present, with what the reality is. Because then you have space. If the mind is constantly talking, thinking, like suggesting this, that, going over the past, then it becomes very difficult for intuition to arise. And it's work. So it's a lot of work to get to that level. You can't theoretically decide that today I will work out of intuition. Yes, Sohail.
Yeah, about intuition, that is very interesting for me, especially in the relationships. We ignore our intuition, what is going to happen, and we act upon our brains, and we listen to our brains, we reason with our brains, but at last intuition wins. How important is that, to listen to your intuition?
Correct. It is very, very important to listen to your intuition. The challenge is you have to be able to realize when it is intuition. Because many people will say, listen to your heart, listen to your feelings, don't listen to your mind. Now, that is tricky. your feelings and your heart might also be totally taking you to the wrong direction. And I'll make enemies when I say this, because a lot of people really love feelings and the heart. So it's a very sweet thing. But if you're very deeply conditioned, right? For example, desire, right? Is so closely related to your heart and your feelings. So you have to realize, are you in that stable, balanced state where it is actually intuition? When the spark comes, it comes. You immediately know. So you would know. But the only thing is, make sure it is intuition. And only, again, nobody else can help you. You have to help yourself. And that's the work. It suddenly arises out of a lot of pain, suffering. Then you know immediately this is the truth and the truth. So the point is, yeah, again, intuition will win if you allow it to win. If you have that space and that mindset, or that growth, that maturity, that sensitivity, that love, where you can allow it to decide. And the other part of it is when intuition, when you're sure that it's intuition, and you're sure that this is what intuition is guiding you to, you should take the decision. You shouldn't take the action, because then it's also difficult. You can also sabotage it after the intuition has arisen, because the mind will again come back. Say that, hey, Sohail, no, 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 no. This is not something we have done in the past. Unknown waters. Let's stay safe. So only you can decide what is intuition.
Yeah,
What is
exactly. I've experienced it in my relationships. My intuition warned me very, very loud that it's not good. But still,
yeah,
I was reasoning with my mind, and I was ignoring my intuition and was reasoning, no, it could be that, it could be that, it could be that. But at last, after 2 years, my intuition was right.
yeah, yeah. It takes courage.
So intuition is actually your spirit. You listen to your spirit and you're always right.
Yeah. Now the point is, again, relationships and family, right? So it's not only you who's involved. So there are other people involved. So here is where the use case starts becoming complicated, complex. It would mean hurting somebody else. So how convinced are you that this is the right thing to do? That this is what is good for everybody? That decides. So it's easier said than done, and it's a long journey. And that's why, like, people take these efforts to take these journeys. For example, we have Farah here. I'm so happy that she just came back for the Camino, right? So this decision, that the action that she took, right? She went on this journey with herself for such a long time. And I can tell you that because I've known her for a while, that she's a very wise woman. She's always a very wise woman. She knows a lot of things at a very deep level. But still she felt that calling to, like, go one step deeper. So it's an endless well. You can keep going. The point is you enjoy the journey also. So you do not say that, yeah, once I do that, only then I will be happy. Sorry, Farah, please correct me if I spoke wrong.
Yeah, anyway, in my life, I've experienced a lot of things, and
Yeah.
every time when I failed, I looked back and analyzed what happened, and the result was I did not listen to my intuition.
Right. Right.
And that
Thank
was
you
my
for
spirit.
sharing.
I was ignoring my spirit, and
Yeah.
I was relying on my mind, on my reasoning.
Right.
That was
Right.
wrong.
Right.
My
Yeah.
spirit was right.
Yeah. Okay, let me talk about the future plans a bit, and then again, I've some time. I can stay back if somebody wants to talk. So here is how it will go, right? So I was talking about some membership in the seminar, but then I thought it out, and then I realized that I really don't want to make it complicated for you all, and you are basically some of the first people I'm working with, I've already my triads, some of the triads, but then you would be the next triads. So what I decided was I decided that I'll offer you the triads for free. So there's no membership, no commitment that you need to have. Of course, be committed to your actions. If you join a triad, then I very strongly suggest that you at least make time for your triad once a week, which is probably half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. And then I'm going to have calls bi-weekly to check in whether the triads are going well. So I'll have a 1 hour call, maybe a little more bi-weekly, where anybody is joined. This would be free calls. We'll just see how things are going, if we need to support each other. And then the other thing I decided was I'll do 2 major events. The first one would be a deep dive with less number of people. So probably it would be around maximum 12 to 15 people in an intimate setting, like where we can really spend time looking into each other's lives, helping each other. And I can really guide you through maybe what blind spots you have. So a proper coaching call, not with 30, 35 people, but with 12, 13 people. I've decided the first Sunday of December as that date. So if I look at my calendar, that would be so very likely the 7th of December, the Sunday. So 7th of December, the Sunday, we'll probably spend the afternoon with a small group, 12 to 15 people. I've not decided the price of the session, but it would be very similar to what it was last time. So more of a deep dive call. And then in January, I will do another big event, probably in Zoku or somewhere similar, where I'll again open it up to more people, and then maybe we add to some triads. So for now, I really want to keep the number of triads limited and number of people in this program who I can support limited. So I have your areas. I'm going to decide really who would be good, and I know you a little bit more also. So I'll decide on the triads depending upon your personalities, the little I know, and also the areas of growth, and I will let you know. It's your option, choice to join a triad or not. I would strongly suggest you do, and I would be very happy if you join a triad. So you join the triads. We do these free online calls every 2 weeks, and then we do 2 big seminars. One big seminar and then one small intimate session. And yeah, depending upon your availability, you are free to choose. So you don't have to commit to anything. You're basically the founding circle I have. So I just want to offer it to you for free also. So any questions on this?
No, thank you very much. And we will hear one of the sessions. Anyway, it's very nice that you offer that.
Yeah. Thank you. And I also look forward to growing with you, right? And your feedback would be very, very valuable if you feel that there's certain things that you want to talk about or certain areas. I'm going to try and do that. Is everybody here okay to join a triad? So basically, the only commitment is you don't have to do it every week, but the only commitment is, yeah, you have 2 other people who you support sometimes, and you join maybe 45 minutes or an hour with them every week, deciding on in person or online. So the little data I have from the other triads is some of them are super active. So they inspire each other on a daily basis. Somebody will say, hey, I'm feeling down. I don't want to go out for my run. And the others would cheer them up. And then they would go out. This is the physical health group. There's a finance group, and they are also very happy. I don't know how much money they have made. They haven't shared that, but I know they talk to each other and they inspire each other to do the right things, I would say. So it's really nice because I hope you realize that most people who were there were quite conscious, nice people, right? Very focused on growth. So if you join the triads, it's nice. You stay there, and again, I'm a fun person. I really believe in celebration. I've planned one weekend getaway. Also, I'll tell you the dates and share more details. And we'll also do some, like day outings. Maybe go to a place like Marken and small towns. Maybe we'll drive to somewhere depending on the weather. So we have all these small fun celebrations planned. you don't really have to commit to anything. The only thing is, yeah, I would really like you to stay there for your triad, support them a bit. And the other part is, I know there's also a lot that you can give. So you have really excelled in your areas. So it's also a chance for you to give to your triad, because giving makes you feel so much better. Growing gives you happiness. Giving gives you twice the happiness. So that's also your chance where you can make a difference. You can add your wisdom. You can support people. So these are, I feel, really amazing reasons why you should be in a triad. But then, of course, the decision is yours.
I
Any?
have a
Yeah.
question. I still did it. I didn't like indicate my area.
Yeah.
Do I need to send it to you or?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If you did not indicate your area, then send it to me.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Area of your choice, not the one that's.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And thank you so much for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Any last comments, questions on the program? I repeat in one line. So the program is, I'm going to, so whoever has decided to join the triads, and I'll check with the others. I'll see your areas and a bit of your personalities, bit of the logistics also where you live, so that you can meet in person, etc. And then announce the triads and which areas they will work on. The previous triads, they came up with an interesting name for them. So the triad identity. So I would ask you to come up with a name. And then you meet every week, 45 minutes to an hour, either in person or online. And then we do a check-in together every 2 weeks, which I would be hosting, facilitating. If there are problems in your triad, I'll try to help you fix it, get somebody else. And I'm doing 2 events. One would be, I think it was the 6th of December, sorry, the 7th of December, Sunday. And another big event, very likely end of January or beginning of February in Zoku. So those again would be ticketed events. If you're available, it would be great. You can buy your tickets and come. Cool, clear on this? Okay, thank you. Anything else now? If everybody has time and anybody wants to talk about anything specific, I'm here. Any questions? Specific questions?
Well, I don't want to commit to anything because personally I'm in a emotional chaos. But anyhow, I would like to force myself to come in people and force myself to become social and also stimulate others who have the same difficulty. But commitment, I don't know, or I'm able to do that. Anyway, I will do my best.
Sure, you have the choice. Let me know. The only thing I would tell you, Sohail, is language is very important, right? So these words, force myself, just, I mean, you're telling me that is fine, right? But in your mind, the moment you say force myself to do this or force myself to do that, there's certain things that happen in your body. So also be nice to yourself. You're in a difficult situation, see what the reality is and back yourself up. Remember that square that we spoke about, your belief system, potential, action, and results, right? So if you have more belief in yourself, if you have more certainty, if you back yourself up, you're in a better space. So in life, at every moment, we have a choice. And listen to this very carefully. We have a choice to focus on something. That something is or can be something that is not right. But at every moment, there's also something that is right. What you focus on is going to decide what your state is. And if your state is good, it's much easier to think about difficult situations and to come up with solutions if you're first focused on the right thing and you're feeling good. That's where physiology and meaning also comes in, the triad I spoke about. So it's way more easier to do difficult things when you're in a good state. So see in your own way, by changing your physiology, by changing what you're focusing on, and by changing the language you use, if you can be in a good state, before you try working on these difficult problems.
Yeah, that's the whole problem. To come in good state, it needs time, it needs practice, it needs a lot of effort to come out of that state.
Yeah.
And well, I'm doing that effort.
Correct. That's also something that you feel at this moment, or you think it takes time. But for example, because I've been practicing it for a while, right? A radical shift in physiology can take you out of that state in seconds. So let's say I'm down, I'm exhausted, I'm upset. I can just play the right music or go into the right state, change my body, focus on the right thing, and be out of the state immediately. So also challenge I throw to you. See if you can also get out of that state. And I know it's easier for me to say this because again, I'm not in the middle of a breakup, right? Or it's easier for me to say that, but I have been practicing this in difficult situations and it works. You can immediately get out of it by trying these three things: your physiology, your what you focus on, what meaning you give to things, and the language. So back yourself up is all I'm saying. So you've done a great job, and you're making the effort to do these things. So start from a position of power. Do not start from a position of loss. That's what I suggest. Try it and let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Anything else? Any last comments?
Okay, I need to go. I don't want to give any big comment.
Sure.
Just want to say thank you, Dev. This was great. And it's also very generous and kind that you offer this for free. So thank you
Sure.
very much.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to be part of a triad and grow together.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Have a good evening.
Bye bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Take care. Bye.